What's going on? It's the RapNerd, and I just got out of seeing Mortal Kombat 2. Don't need to go over the story because if you are here, you are aware of the first Mortal Kombat, and also know that this is a direct sequel to that movie. So, without further ado, Street Fighter, y'all better come with that fire in October because Mortal Kombat 2 brought the heat. I absolutely loved this movie, and I feel like this is what the first one in 2021 should have been. This is so good and on par with the games, and if you're a fan of the games, I just don't see how you could leave and be unsatisfied because I was fully fed. They learned from a lot of the mistakes from the first movie, which I gotta say, with the first film, the biggest problem was Cole, because I don't think anyone cared about his character, and the editing on the action. Both of those things have been alleviated, and man, my guy Cole, the actor, it wasn't you, my dog. It was the script and how they chose to write that. But even with him, the biggest thing was how the sequences were edited, because they were chopping it all up. You couldn't see the action. It would switch to different angles mid-punch or mid-kick, and it was just not what we expected and wanted from a game like Mortal Kombat, which has the martial arts on Front Street. But here, you definitely don't have that problem. Every action sequence is enjoyable, fun, and exciting, from the choreography itself to being able to see special moves being used as well as fatalities. They check all of the boxes from the MK games to give people who care about the mythology, the lore, the way things look, the special moves, the characteristics. You will enjoy it if you are there. So I gotta also say with that, if you go into this movie, you're not a fan of Mortal Kombat, you don't really care about any of those type of things, and you're just looking at it strictly as, hey, I'm a critic, and let me see how this movie is, you're definitely going to have some things to say. I'm not going to front. It's not a perfect movie in that standpoint, because it is a bit messy in areas, but guess what? If you're a fan like me of the games, this is all that I wanted. And this is not for me to say I'm trying to call a really bad movie good, because I don't think it's bad at all. Again, there are some messiness with the plot because there's a lot going on. There are expositional dumps. Some of the comedy doesn't land, but even with that stuff, I don't think it brought the movie down at all. I found it to be fun and a much better time than the original. To me, the original one felt too comedic, whereas here, I feel like it took itself a lot more seriously. Even though you do have certain characters that provide comedy, like Johnny Cage and Kano, who were the two biggest ones, but overall, everything else is pretty serious. And one of the things that I really loved about the film is it felt like an ensemble cast. I think every character got their shine, and they had their own storylines that they stuck to, so you don't just have one protagonist here. I feel like it's a shared experience with all the characters, and every single character gets their shine. Like, one side of the movie, you have the storyline with Shao Kahn, Kitana, Jade, Quan Chi, I believe his name is, and Shang Tsung. Then you have Raiden's team that consists of course, Raiden, Sonya Blade, Liu Kang, Jax, and then you have Johnny Cage going on his own journey as well. But even though he's going on a journey, the time is split amongst all of those three storylines, so it doesn't just feel like one person's movie. That being said, I'm gonna go through each characterization to let you know what I feel about it. I thought Johnny Cage was excellent. I love this older, seasoned, but not as spry Johnny Cage in this film, because he brought a nice spice to the film, especially with Carl's performance. I love how they introduced his character. It was done like he was in a cheap-ass movie, and the choreography was so over the top and ridiculous. I'm watching like, this can't be how the action is, but then once it's revealed it's a tape of himself, I was like, this is gonna be great. And I'm a real big fan of characterization like that, when you have these characters in games who are older and more beat down thrown in with the cast of younger characters willing to get into the action, and that's what made his interaction with Raiden's squad so fun. And similar to how Cole was, you kind of get that introduction through him, because when he gets brought to the tournament, he doesn't have powers, and of course, if you watch the first one, everybody has to gain their powers. How they handle that was just a chef's kiss. Oh my goodness. Then you move to Raiden's squad, you have Raiden there, who plays the same role that he plays in all of these movies, being the one to kind of put the pieces together to go against Shao Kahn. And Sonya and Jax take more of a side character arc here since they were heavily used in the first movie, but they were still around enough and had enough to do to where they feel like a needed part of the team. That being said, my favorite character in this film for me was Liu Kang, and to me, he stepped up even more and didn't feel like a side character like he did in the first movie. All of his scenes were absolute fire, and I mean that literally. They really utilized his power in every single fight that he was in, and it brought me so much joy to see how he was portrayed in this movie, man. And as you've probably seen, the best fight in this movie is when he fights Kung Lao, and that sequence is pretty damn long. I didn't expect it to be as long as it was, and if you've seen the clip that they put out, there is a lot cut from that clip, so don't think that it was spoiled. There's even more dope shit in that fight that you gotta see for yourself. And there's this ill scene when he goes against Shao Kahn. A piece of it's in the trailer, but when you get the full thing, it is just so damn good, and I love that and how they did that, and I don't want to spoil it. And then the side arc with Katana, Jade, Shao Kahn, and Shang Tsung and all of them, they bring the real serious moment of it. And I love how when you're with them, it kind of feels like you're amongst royalty, how everybody speaks to each other. Even the way some people speak, it's with an old English tongue. So it just adds a little bit something different to their arc when you're with them. And that piece in particular is taken the most serious out of all of the arcs, so it added another flavor again to the movie. And of course, I can't forget Scorpion and Bihan, brought back as new Saibot. When they clash, epic. And what you see in the trailer is just a small piece of how that fight actually goes. So overall, I loved it and enjoyed the hell out of it. As soon as that steelbook goes up for pre-order, I will be buying it because, again, this is a definitive Mortal Kombat movie, and I think it feels like the 95 version, but just updated and even more action in it, honestly. Like, I gotta do a ranking now that we have this because they executed it perfectly, and this is how it should have been from the jump. So if you see Mortal Kombat 2, let me know in the comments what you thought about the movie. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you think the first one was better? And what were your favorite sequences? And try to keep it spoiler free since it is still opening weekend. Again, my favorite sequence was Liu Kang versus Kung Lao and Liu Kang versus Shao Kahn. And of course, if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, thank you. And until next time, peace. RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy. Instead of banking on it, now rapping is just a hobby.